I voted yesterday, and I'm going to tell you why.
And welcome to yet another episode of Crown and Comments with your host and resident Goldwing guru, the one, the only, Cruiseman. Brought to you by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Videos.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Crown and Comments, October 2024. I'm Cruiseman. And this month we are going to get into you are going to get a rant. Okay, so I'll just warn you right up front. Some of you like my rants, some of you don't like my rants, but you're going to get one this month. And I just want to, for those of you that are maybe new to the program, let me tell you exactly what we're doing here. About once a month I get together with everybody and I do what I call Crown and Comments. Now, what this is an opportunity for me to sit down and go over primarily some of the things that you tell me on my YouTube channel or my Facebook page. And I take those comments and I either answer your questions or I respond to them. I forgot to mention, the reason we call this program Crown and Comments is because I get my favorite adult beverage once a month. I do get this beverage more than once a month. My favorite adult beverage is Crown Royal. But I invite you to get your favorite adult beverage. Sit back and relax. Don't take anything I say too seriously. I mean, what the hell do I know, right? But I invite you to get your favorite adult beverage. That does not have to be alcoholic. It could be iced tea. It could be Coca-Cola. It could be Dr. Pepper. It could be hot tea for my British friends. And somebody's texting me. What the heck? I need to turn off my notifications. I mentioned right up front that I voted, and I'm going to tell you why I voted. And I promise you, and that's going to be in the B block, but I promise you, so don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear this because this is part of my rant. I am not going to tell you, I'll tell you right now, I am not going to tell you how I voted. I'm not going to tell you how, I'm going to tell you why. And you say, well, what does that have to do with motorcycles? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what it has to do with motorcycles. It has everything to do with our hobby, our sport. For some of us, maybe it's a form of transportation. I don't know. It depends on your situation. This last week, the YouTube channel exceeded 65,000 subscribers. I want to thank all of you for supporting the channel. If you haven't done so already, do me a favor, please click the subscribe button down below. Don't forget the notification bell. That way YouTube will let you know when we come out with new videos. Now, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel. It's free, and you can unsubscribe anytime if you don't like something I say. Probably get a few of those tonight. So we hit 65,000. My goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers, and that's kind of where my head is right now. So anything you can do, like the videos, share them with your friends. Next news item is we did get a new car. We had a 2020 Lexus NX 300 Turbo was our previous car. And we had it on a 3-year lease, and the lease came up last September, October. So we decided to extend that lease for another year because we just really weren't excited about getting a new car at the time. We extended that lease and kept it for another year, probably the end of September, right before we left the country on our trip. We went over to the Lexus dealer. We had to turn the car in. We were going to buy the car. We were just going to pay it off and buy for the residual. I knew the car was worth a lot more than what we could have purchased it for. But, you know, as has happened many times in the past, my salesman said, you might want to consider getting a new 2025. You get all the new bells and whistles. And so, you know, he talked us into it. It was going to cost us less to get a new 2025 for 3 years than what it would have been to buy the 2020, and with the 2020 we were getting ready to have to put on new tires. That's $1,000. It would not have had any kind of a warranty, so if you got an extended warranty, that would have been another $2,500. Just all kinds of stuff. You know, there's all kinds of ways to justify these things, and Ricky just wanted a new car anyway. So we got a 2025, another NX. This time we got the NX 250. It's not a turbo, it's naturally aspirated. I did a review of that car and I just posted it today on my YouTube channel. So if you're interested, you want to watch that, please go there, watch it, maybe give it a thumbs up. You know, just watch 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes, or if you're interested, watch the whole thing. I'm not a car reviewer by any stretch. There are some things about the car that kind of irritate me that I was not too happy with. Another news item, we now have long sleeve t-shirts on our merchandise channel for the winter, getting ready for winter. So some of our most popular designs are now available in a long sleeve version. So if you are looking to get something maybe a little bit warmer, they're just t-shirts, they're not sweatshirts, but they are long sleeve, so they're a little bit warmer. Early in the month had this CG Prime. When Amazon had their Prime days, I kind of tried to piggyback on that to give a 20% discount on my Goldwing maintenance videos, and I called it CG Prime for Cruiseman's Garage Prime. And we ran it for, I think, maybe 5 or 10 days, but then the hurricanes hit. You know, we had the hurricane in North Carolina, Tennessee, all that part of the country. And then that was Helene, and then we also had Hurricane Milton while we were on our cruise, and several, I bet I got half a dozen emails from people saying, you know, I'm interested in the videos, but right now it's just a crazy time because maybe they were, who knows, maybe they're trying to rebuild their house. So we decided to go ahead and extend that 20% discount through the end of October. So October 31st, that CG Prime promotion will go away. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you why I voted. Get ready for a little rant. It's not going to be explosive rant, but it will be a rant, and that's coming up right after this. Everybody, welcome back to Crown and Comments, October 2024, and I did vote. I hope you guys have voted. I hope everybody votes. And I say that, I'm not one of these people that believes everybody should vote. I know that's kind of the popular narrative. You know, everybody should exercise their right to vote. I think there's actually certain people that shouldn't be allowed to vote, but that's just me. You know, that's probably controversial in and of itself. But when have I ever run away from controversy? Now, as I mentioned early on, I'm not going to tell you how I voted. I'm going to tell you why I voted. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read a couple of things to you and some statistics of what's happened over the last few years. And I got a letter from my insurance agent. Now, this is the insurance agent that set me up with Medicare. I'm on Medicare, and I get a letter from him similar to this every year. And I got this letter from him just about the same day I got my notice from Aetna about my Part D insurance. For those of you that are familiar with Medicare, Part D is the drug plan. Okay, so he just comes up and he says the standard boilerplate stuff as I know you have Medicare supplement, which I'm sure is doing great, blah, blah, blah. It's not subject to annual enrollment. However, this is the time to evaluate your drug plan, as you can keep or change it between October 15th and December 7th, kind of that open enrollment period. Due to a provision of the Inflation Reduction Act, all drug plans appear to be experiencing changes. No shit. Well, then I open up this thing from Aetna, and I'll put these on the screen. I don't expect you to read this. My Part D drug plan. Understand, I take one drug, and that is a thyroid medication. That's the only thing I take. I am not big into pills. In fact, I'm considering getting off of it. 2024. my drug plan, I was paying $9.80 per month. 2025, this is starting in January, $44.80. That is a 357% increase. It's 457% of what I was paying previously. So I'll be paying more than 4.5 times if I stay with this drug plan. 4.5 times of what I was paying. But it gets better. Oh wait, there's more. If you read down below, the deductible last year was $280. So in other words, I had to pay the first $280 of any drugs I purchase, regardless of this. So I'm having to pay $44.80 a month plus the first $280 worth of drugs, which in my case, I never even meet that deductible. Unless I maybe need a bunch of antibiotics or something, maybe I get sick, which never happens for me. I rarely need those. I don't think I've ever met my deductible on my drug plan. But in 2025, that deductible goes to $590. So my deductible is doubling my out-of-pocket, what I've got to pay before they pay anything. And they're also changing all the drug tiers. Where I used to pay $0 for a drug tier 1, I'm now paying $5. What used to be $5 is now $10. I mean, it's just everything's doubled basically as far as that goes. That's the first thing. We renew our insurance in November of every year. At the end of November, we renew our homeowners and our auto insurance. I get a letter or I get a notice from Allstate. Allstate, our insurance, our homeowners insurance last year was $3,308. That was up 57% from the previous year, back in 2023. 2023 was 20% more than 2022. And 2022 was 8% more than 2021. They are now quoting our homeowners insurance at $4,900. That is a 48% increase over 2024.
If we go back to 2021, we're paying 250% more, just the increase since 2021.
Oh, but wait, there's more. It gets better. Are you getting now why I voted? This is the issue. These are the issues I'm voting on. It gets better. They've doubled the deductible. Back in 2021, we had a 1% deductible on our homeowners. Now we've got 2% deductible, so that doubled. Now what that means is, if our roof is damaged, hail damage, and our house is valued at $500,000, we have a $10,000 deductible, basically. So they don't even start paying for anything until after $10,000. That was $5,000 back in 2021 on a $500,000 home. We went to get a new quote from Progressive on our home. They're valuing our home at $775,000. Our home is not worth $775,000. We could rebuild this home from the ground up if it blew off the foundation tomorrow or burned to the ground. We could easily rebuild this home for probably less than $500,000 because our land is worth something. The reason they're valuing the property so high is because that 2% deductible, it has almost a $16,000 deductible if we had to have our roof replaced. So we are actually considering thinking, are we really getting anything for this insurance? Now, granted, if the house burned to the ground, I suppose so. But the most likely thing for us here in Texas would be hail damage. But now we're getting to a point where this is becoming unsustainable. Okay, so now we get our car insurance renewal. Last year, we paid $1,670 for our car insurance.
That was a 71% increase.
Over 2024. We were paying $978 before in 2023, and in 2021 I think it was $935. So it really didn't go up much from 2021 to 2023. 2025, now it's $2,580 through Allstate. That's a 53% increase in 1 year. No accidents, no tickets, virtually the same vehicle. This is unsustainable. That is a 175% increase. We're paying 2.75 times what we were paying in 2021. So, you want to know why I'm voting? That's why I voted. You vote for whoever you want. I would never tell you, I think it'd be stupid for me to say who I voted for or to tell you who to vote for, because that would just not be a smart business decision on my part. But I can tell you what, here's what I want to know. I want to ask everybody, am I the only one that's going through this kind of thing? Is anybody else experiencing these kind of rate hikes on insurance? And then we could, I could talk about food. I could talk about airline tickets. I could talk about the whole gamut of things that are just through the roof compared to what they would be. If I was charging for my maintenance videos retail for $2.99. Now, I did increase the price a couple of years ago. I think they were $2.49. If I was charging for my maintenance videos to keep up with this rate of inflation that I'm experiencing, I'd be charging $800 or $900 for my maintenance videos. Now, you may wonder, what does this have to do with motorcycles? Okay, I'll tell you. I think there's a lot of people. I hope I'm not the only one. It'd be nice if I was the only one, but I'm sure some of you are experiencing similar things like this. I know a lot of people in the country are experiencing these kinds of inflationary pressures. Now, if your income went up 4.5 times in the last 5 years, good on you. Mine didn't. So in my particular case, this is not sustainable. Something has to change. What does it have to do with motorcycles? At some point, you squeeze the lemon so you get all the juice you can get out of the lemon. And at some point, people are going to be making a decision. And guess what? When they have to stay in their home, now we're lucky. Our home is paid for. We could literally self-insure. We don't have to have insurance. Our mortgage company does not require us to have insurance because we don't have a mortgage. So we could self-insure if we had to. But most people can't. They have a mortgage to pay, and the mortgage company requires insurance. And if it comes down between having homeowners insurance, auto insurance, health care insurance, and I don't even know what the hell my Medicare Part A/B policy, my supplemental, is going to be this year. I have no idea what that's going to be. They haven't told me that yet. God only knows how expensive that's going to go up. When it comes between health insurance and car insurance and homeowners insurance, at some point, people get to the point where they have to make decisions. And this is why it has something to do with motorcycles. The first thing to go is going to be that motorcycle out in the garage, because that, my friends, is a hobby. It is not a necessity, So the entire motorcycle industry could be at risk because of this inflationary cycle we're in, this spiral, this death spiral that we're in right now. I've said the exact same thing on my cruise channel about the cruise industry. At some point, people are going to say, well, am I going to have homeowners insurance, or am I going to go on a 7-night cruise? No, we'll do the cruise later. Same thing with a motorcycle. It is a luxury for most people. For me, it's transportation, but for most people, and for me, it's a business. It is my business. But for most people, owning a Honda Goldwing or owning a motorcycle is purely a hobby. And if it comes down between homeowners insurance, auto insurance, Medicare insurance, medical insurance, and the motorcycle, guess which one's going to go? And that's why. Who you vote for might make a difference of whether or not there'll even be a motorcycle industry in the next 5 years. Okay, that's enough of that. Vote for who you want to, and I respect everybody's right to vote however they want. I can take this off now. Now, I think I've made my point. Okay, when we come back, I'm going to read some of your comments that were posted to my YouTube channel, and I will give you my answers and my responses, and we're going to do that coming up right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruiseman's Garage and Crowning Comments October 2024. I've got my MacBook Pro here. Many of you have seen before. I got my Crown Royal, and I'm ready to read some of your comments and respond to them. I want to thank everybody that did submit comments. It really, I think it helps the channel. I think it's one of those things that YouTube looks at as far as algorithms. The more people that comment on videos, I think it actually helps the algorithm to get the video more play on YouTube, you might say. This is first one is from Gold Rider 1. This is Mac out in Tennessee. Some of you know who Mac is. Gold Rider 1 has his own YouTube channel. Good channel, check it out. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. And this was on my garage sale video. I was selling a whole lot of various accessories and parts that I had laying around. And I think in that video I mentioned that I thought Mac had the show chrome windshield because I still have one for sale. It's the only thing right now that has not sold. Everything else sold except for the windshield. I've still got it. But he put in a comment on that video. He said, yes, I have the show chrome tall windshield. Very good windshield. Thank you, Mac, for that comment, letting everybody know. Now this is on a video. The next one is from Wing Rider 2024. And this was a video I did on the Saddlebag Dynamic Sequential LEDs from Pathfinder LEDs. These are the little LEDs that mount down at the very back bottom of your saddlebags. He said, you helped me out yet again, Cruiseman. I used this tutorial to install my lights and the process went smoothly. So thankful for videos such as this to help me do mods on my bike. Thank you, Bob. Or thank you, Bob. Bob, thank you for posting the comment. I appreciate it. Glad you got them installed. Send us a picture. Let's take a look at them. This is from Daniel Kulka. This is on the video I did on the new Brake Free, the upgraded Brake Free helmet light. And he said, I wish it had a lock mount. And I think what he means is when you put it on the helmet, a way to lock it so that somebody, I guess, couldn't come along and take it off. I think there might be a couple of reasons they haven't done that. Number one, it would add weight and bulk to put in some sort of a lock mechanism to lock that brake light to the helmet. And number two, it's so easy just to pop off and throw in your trunk or throw in your saddlebag or even carry it on your jacket. I think that's probably why they didn't do it, just because, you know, it would be and it would add to the cost of the product. But thank you for the message, for the comment. This is from Dr. Watts. This is on a little blurb I put out about hitting 65,000 subscribers. Congratulations, Chris. I literally watch everything you post and I think you are amazing. Wow. I'll do my best to help you reach the goal of 100,000 and beyond. Well, Dr. Watts, thank you very much. I'm going to need all the help I can get because it's a long road. But when I hit 100,000, we are going to celebrate like nothing you've ever seen before. Okay, this is from Quick Nuts on the Brake Free. It's not gyroscopic technology, but more of a sensitive solid-state accelerometer chip. Wrong terminology, old man. He had to throw in that old man. Just had to do it. I interviewed the CEO and one of the founders of Brake Free, and I went back and looked at the transcript, and he uses the term gyro several times in that podcast. And he, as I recall, said it was a combination of an accelerometer and a gyroscope. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my memory. Go back and watch the video with Alex, but that's my recollection. Let's see. This is from Kevin Lawson. This is on my review of the 2024 Goldwing. I was considering getting a 2024, but after watching this review, you examined so many good points, I've opted to hold off until these shortcomings are addressed by Honda. The TFT screen, the parking brake, the non-lockable cubby, and no adaptive cruise. Well, Kevin, the only thing I would say, and I think there's a lot of people holding off until the 2025 models come out, but the only thing I would say is there is no guarantee that Honda's going to address these issues. I don't know. I have no crystal ball. I can't tell. I do sort of think, because I get a lot of questions about the 2025 Goldwing. People say, when's it coming out? When are we going to hear something? I don't know why, but I just kind of have this suspicion that it's going to be later rather than sooner. I don't know that we're going to know anything about a 2025 Goldwing until certainly after the election, and possibly even after the first of the year, which is unusual for Honda. Honda usually announces these things like in November, and they usually start shipping in January or February, but I just get the feeling this year, I don't know why, I just get the feeling that they're not going to get anything until later in the year or early next year. But what do I know? This is from Tom Bear. This is on my Indian Pursuit review. He said, when I see the Pursuit guys getting 200,000 to 300,000 like the Goldwings with no problems, I will buy one. Well, the Indian Pursuit, I think, is probably a great motorcycle. I mean, I test rode it for a few hundred miles, and I really enjoyed riding it. It's a nice, beautiful bike. Not everybody that buys a motorcycle plans to keep it 200,000 or 300,000 miles. I think some people, if they get 30, 40, 50,000 miles out of a motorcycle, they're happy. But Goldwing owners typically are, not all of them, but a lot of them are hardcore. They want to go 100,000, 200,000 miles. So the Goldwing is really the only bike I'm aware of that has that history and that tradition of being able to withstand that kind of mileage, the durability, the reliability. So I understand your point, but like I say, I think the typical Pursuit rider is not thinking about going 200,000 or 300,000 miles. Doug Fissel, and I don't know that the Pursuit wouldn't last 200,000 or 300,000 miles. I'm just making that comment. This is on the Break Free again. Hi, Chris. We met in Green Bay. I went to your link and also direct and entered Cruiseman for the discount code. By the way, if you order a Break Free brake light, I am an affiliate with Break Free, and I do get a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything, but they do give me a small commission for bringing people to their website. Just be upfront about that. And there's a discount code too called Cruiseman. And if you use that discount code, you save $10 in addition to any other deals they're offering. Well, he was saying that in both cases, it just shows $10 off in the cart with the Cruiseman code, not $20. The $20 I was referring to in the video is you get $10 off from Break Free, whether you use the Cruiseman code or not. If you, in addition, use the Cruiseman code or my link, you'll get an additional $10 off for a total of $20. Now, if you purchase the white model, which is the non-upgraded Break Free, you can get $30 off. They're giving $20 off to anybody and an additional $10 if you use the Cruiseman code. I answered his question, and I think he understood and came back and understood what I was saying. Pete Peterson. What's a guy to do that bought a used 2018 with his one key, but they didn't include the top secret code tab? Always carry a spare battery? He's asking that question. Pete, okay, let's say you buy a used Honda Goldwing and you get your key fob, but that doesn't have the little tag on it with the code the emergency unlock code. It's something that, especially if you're buying from a dealer, you should always ask. In fact, you should ask for it whether you're buying from a private seller or from a dealer. Always make sure you get that unlock code, that little tag. You don't have to have the tag, but you need the number. But let's say you buy a used Goldwing and you get the key fob and it does not have that, and you don't have the unlock code. My understanding is if you go to a Honda dealer or if you contact American Honda with your VIN number, you might have to give them a bill of sale. You might have to show some proof that you own the motorcycle now. I'm not sure what the requirement is, but there is a way. They do keep a database of those codes based on your VIN number, and they can reissue you a new unlock code. Very important to know. I know people that have done that. Now, if you bought from a dealer, it's probably going to be easier because they'll have your bill of sale. They'll know, they can provide Honda with that documentation. If you buy from an individual, you're probably going to have a signed bill of sale. Maybe you need to have a copy of the title to send to American Honda to show that you are the owner of the bike. I really don't know. But apparently you can contact American Honda and get that. F6B Adventures, Adden, he said Sunday, he's talking about my car review that I just put out today. Sunday at the restaurant might turn into a car show here in the next few weeks. I kind of doubt that. Now, in the next few weeks, it might get cold weather where I can't ride the motorcycle and I may end up bringing the car. That could happen. Because Don doesn't mind showing off his beautiful blue truck and Robert doesn't mind showing off that Bronco. So maybe you're right. Maybe it will be more of a car show. This is from Utaron Tour. Maybe it's Utah. I don't know. UTO Ron Tour. This is on my review of the 2024 Honda Goldwing. Thank you for this video. Very good. Greetings from Germany. Wow. We've got quite a few German viewers. And all over Europe, all over the world now. I mean, I get comments all the time from sometimes in other languages. So we've got people all over the world now, and my maintenance videos are now in 35 different countries. I can't believe it. It's incredible. Okay, Dwayne Carringer. This is on my Lexus review that I just did. Does the motor have a turbo? No. Naturally aspirated 2.5 liter. I should have mentioned that it does not have a turbo. I forgot to mention that in the video. You have to go to the NX 350 to get the turbo. I think it's a 2 or 2.1 liter. We had the turbo in our last NX, and even though it's a smaller engine, it definitely did have more power than this car. This car should probably get a little bit better mileage, and it's not a sports car. Now, if you get the F Sport, with the bigger engines and the more power, yeah, you could. But it's a little compact SUV. Let's not kid each other. This is something you run around town and go buy groceries in. Also, does it have a blind spot warning system? Yes, it does. I think. Pretty sure it does. He said, when I purchased my 2020 NX 300 base model, it did not have a blind spot system. Well, our NX 300T Turbo did have blind spot monitoring. I'm pretty sure this one does too. I'll have to go check now. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to it. There's so many. I've been having so many issues with the CarPlay. I haven't had time to check that. Anyway, that's the last comment for tonight. I know it's a little bit of a short one. I appreciate you joining me tonight. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I'm sure I will have pissed off somebody by now. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget, if you liked this video, if you got anything out of it, give it a thumbs up. That's much appreciated, because that really, more than anything, that really does help our YouTube rankings. Remember to share the video with your friends. Get more people to watch Crown and Comments, and a lot more videos coming in the near future. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, remember what I always say. You know what I'm going to say. Ride often, but ride safe.